To me, like that's like the safest place that I could ever put my money is into those two places, silver and Bitcoin. When you have something like silver or Bitcoin, you have something that is not only rare, but protected within your own abilities. Like you don't have to worry about somebody else, their app, their, phone call, their whatever. It's all upon you. And by doing that, you secure yourself away from the third party, right? So then when votes are made or, stuff starts to collapse or whatever happens, you know that you're secure in what you have, right? You got your wealth, and whatever happens on the outside is literally that happening on the outside.
Hey everyone, welcome back to StockPulse. Today I've got a special guest. He will be one of the speakers at the Silver Symposium. So if you guys haven't registered yet, please sign up. We have just a few spots left. There is a Zoom option as well. We have a lot of great speakers lined up September 29th, starting out October, going to October 1st. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm going to introduce none other than, of course, Uneducated Economist, Simon. You guys know him as UE. Welcome, Simon. How are you, bro?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick, for everything, man. I mean, inviting me down for the StockPulse Silver Symposium to speak in front of the group of people. Man, I am super pumped up to do this. So thank you for the invite, man.
Dude, it's been really fun. And if you guys haven't been watching his channel already, please check him out. I did have the pleasure of getting to sit in that car with the fuzzy dice, and It was quite an honor. I'm really excited because we are bringing so many great people who think alike, think differently. And even from your perspective, you bring a rather different perspective to the table. For those who haven't watched you, you're really into what's going on, especially into some of the commodities areas, especially lumber. And when I started listening to Uneducated Economist, it was because I was in the process of building a home. And I'm really glad I did listen, because exactly what he said was going to happen happened. The prices came back down after they went back up, just like he said. And he explains principles like, what's the right word to say? Is it Cantillon?
Oh, the Cantillon effect?
Cantillon effect.
A lot of people will say like Cantillon, but he was a French guy, and so it was pronounced Cantillon. And yeah, he has a pretty good theory as far as, well, it wasn't even really a theory. It was an essay that he had written back in like the 1700s. And in this essay, he was talking about the increase and decrease of money to a state. And wow, does that not really paint a really good picture of what has happened here in the United States and what ends up happening throughout a lot of economies? And, following that Cantillon effect and seeing how the increase and decrease of money to a state actually impacts the economy and the people who are operating within it, it was very telling. And so once I kind of took on that theory, that Cantillon theory, I started incorporating other theories into my understandings. And I do come up with a pretty unique ideas as far as what's going on within the economy, because I look at things from a working class point of view. Most people are looking at the economy from 30,000 feet. They're investors, they're business owners, maybe even came from wealth or something in their past. I'm literally 9-to-5 job, working boots on the ground in the mix of it. And so I have a perspective that was very different. And that's really where I was able to see the things happening within the lumber industry much sooner than anybody else was, because I knew loggers, because I knew truck drivers, because I knew people who worked at the mill. And with all this information, I was including the things that I understood about, say Cantillon's essay. It really gave me that ability to call out the lumber market when nobody could see it. When they saw those lumber prices heading up to their all-time highs and they thought for sure hyperinflation was on its way, I was one of the few people out there screaming, nope, this is not what you think. This is a supply chain breakdown, and we are going to see the lumber prices come back down. And really, I got kind of famous on the internet for that.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I'm not going to lie, it really helped me out in my family, because one of the things that I was researching was, what am I going to do with my Bitcoin at that time? And I'll even actually share this with you guys, because for a lot of you that have been paying attention to what I've been doing, I developed a website. It's called StockPulse.io. And if you guys look at StockPulse.io, here he goes. Well, first, you're going to see this lovely guy, right? So don't forget, Simon will be speaking first. He'll be speaking a couple of times, one at the influencer panel and another one right after G. Edward Griffin speaks on Saturday. So a lot of fun people coming to this event. But what I wanted to talk about was the price of lumber. When you talk about the price of lumber, especially within Satoshic value, especially, let's just say the last 5 years, in January of January of 2018, you're sitting at roughly 1.3 million sats to buy the same amount of lumber that it would take you today, 244,000 satoshis, or roughly 284,000 satoshis. So when you look at the prices, I was sitting back here and looking at building a home going, what am I going to do? What is going to happen? And I'm really glad I did, because down here, it took me less satoshis to buy that same amount of wood as it would have taken if I had waited just a few months later. So it really did help out a lot when you understood that. But the reality of Bitcoin is, when you see Bitcoin going up in value year over year over year, you kind of see the same story. It doesn't really matter what commodity you're looking at or what stock you're looking at. You can even come down and say you wanted to look at silver, for example. We're going to be talking Silver Symposium. Over the last 5 years, you see that back in February of 2019, it took almost 500,000 satoshis to buy an ounce of silver. Today, it costs 90,000 satoshis to buy an ounce of silver. So when you start to really take time to look at what you have and what the purchasing power of what you're holding is, it makes you have a better perspective as to how to make decisions for your family. For me at that time, it was understanding the value of Bitcoin was high. The value of wood was about to explode. So I decided to do something about it in 2021 when Bitcoin's price tanked and I was sitting in a position where I was holding lumber that was going up in value. I felt pretty smart. And these are the things where if you lean on each other, and I know you don't really look at a lot of the other influencers a lot of the time. You're really in your own niche. You're doing your own game. And I see what you're doing. You're really bringing a different flavor to the market than most of the people are bringing, because it's the real data that you see every day in the store coming in and out. You hear from customers what's going on. You hear from builders what their needs are and what their struggles are. You hear what they're trying to move because it's overabundance, oversupply. So these are the things that, if you're paying attention to someone like Simon, you guys will understand that there are things that you can do in your everyday life to help you be better prepared for what is about to come. So with that said, I just wanted to throw another question at you.
Sure.
You know, when we talked before, so people don't know this, Simon lives just a few miles away from me. He's not very far. And it took me a while to connect with him. I tried really hard, guys, like seriously. I emailed him, we exchanged texts a little bit. I tried not to be too pushy, but I said one thing and you were like, dude, this is the time. It was G. Edward Griffin. When I said G. Edward Griffin is coming, you were like, that guy's the OG. This is an event I can't miss. What are you most excited about hearing or asking G. Edward Griffin about? What are you going to talk to him about?
Oh, wow.
Because you're going to get to meet this guy. He literally wrote the book, when people weren't sure what was going on. And he called it out. Could you imagine have your parents educating you on this book 30 years ago? How much different your life would be? And this guy called it.
Yeah. And, it's pretty amazing. This whole YouTube channel really changed my life. I mean, it's taken me places that I had never thought I would ever do. Being able to do speaking engagements and travel around and meet different people. I've met a lot of different economists, a lot of different, people out there who have always been on my list of like my heroes. G. Edward Griffin has always been at the very top. If he had not written that book, I know I would not be here today doing what I'm doing. He changed my life. Like, that book changed everything about the way I see the world, how I see the Federal Reserve, how it is that I even, see myself and what it is that I'm supposed to do within this world. G. Edward Griffin changed my life. So if there's anything, I just want to shake his hand and thank him for that, and really, out of all the people that I've ever met, he, like I said, he is probably at the top. And to actually meet G. Edward Griffin would like seal the deal for me. It would be like I have met all the people that I have truly wanted to meet. And I guess that's for me.
Who's next on the list that I could keep in mind? Because I want you at a next event. So I got to have someone. Give me someone to go for.
There's so many great guys out there, that are just awesome, like Doug Casey and Peter Schiff and, just all these.
Peter Schiff so bad. If he could talk to me, we would have so much fun, because that guy, well, I would ask him one question. Hey, Peter, you love gold. I love gold. You like silver. I like silver. You breathe air. I breathe air. You don't like Bitcoin, but you use Bitcoin ordinals. I don't understand that one. Can you explain to me how you don't like Bitcoin when you use the blockchain it's necessary to have the ordinals you're subscribing to? And I don't get it. Could you show me why you don't like Bitcoin again, Peter? I'm kind of confused. That would be my question to him. Like, honestly, like, how do you not like Bitcoin? Like, no cameras, just please tell me, because I know you love it. In your closet doors, when they're closed, you love Bitcoin so much. I know you do.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, I have my own theories on some of that stuff, but you know, really, you know, when it comes to like that love-hate relationship with Bitcoin, like I don't understand like why people hate it as much as they do. Like, you know, they've taken in this position like, oh, it's worthless. I'm not going to even touch it now with a 10-foot pole. And I still question it. It was just like, after all these years and all this stuff that's happened and all the, you know, times that, you know, the exchanges have failed and all that other stuff, it's still here, still operating, still doing what it said it was going to do the entire time. So how do we deny this at this point? You know, it's just like at some point, you know, we just have to, like, the people who are haters are just going to have to accept it.
And it's
like,
not just that. It's like you've got hedge funds buying in, you've got banks buying in, you've got companies holding it, you have ETFs begging to launch. They're just waiting for the SEC to, you know, approve it probably in January. I don't know how you don't see this growing. The hash rate on the network is higher than it's ever been before. We're sitting at, I think it's something like we saw earlier was 420, 430 exahashes. So we're really high. You have more Bitcoin being hodled than ever before. It has not been leaving wallets because everyone is just waiting to see what's going to happen. I mean, this is really the metrics about Bitcoin's health. The Bitcoin network is stronger than ever before. We have more people holding 0.01 Bitcoin than ever before. We have more people holding 1 Bitcoin than ever before. Whale wallets are accumulating more Bitcoin than ever before. And the exchanges are being drained of Bitcoin. We haven't seen levels this low since back in 2017. And I don't suspect we're going to see anything more coming into the market like we talked about on your show. The miners are not going to be putting it into the market. The only people selling are the people that are getting scared and not holding. For some reason, they have a situation where they need to sell their Bitcoin. And I find it to be laughable that they think they're going to have an opportunity to buy it again. So I hope these people wake up, because it is the scarcest resource we've ever had in the history of the world.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, it's so amazing after all these years of everything that I've done, you know, with the YouTube channel and all this other stuff. I still find, you know, like people come up to me and, you know, and ask me, it's just like, what do you think about economy? Where should I put money? And I tell people, it's just like, have you ever considered buying $50 a month in Bitcoin or some silver or something like that?
Absolutely.
And they, like, you know, I mean, to me, like, that's like the safest place that I could ever put my money is into those two places, silver and Bitcoin. It's like out away from that third party claim. You don't have to worry about them people. And, you know, it gives me something that I feel secure with. Everything else is going to be a third party claim, whether you're getting into stocks or, you know, bonds or whatever it is that's out there.
Even real estate, unless you own your home.
Right. And even real estate on, you know, on that extent, like, you know, what if you don't need to sell your real estate? What if you only need a few $1,000s? Now you got to go into like, you know, HELOC or something like that to try and get some money out, and you're paying interest on it. So, you know, when you have something like silver or Bitcoin, you have something that is not only rare, but protected within your own abilities. Like, you don't have to worry about somebody else, their app, their, you know, phone call, their whatever. It's all upon you. Right? And by doing that, you secure yourself away from the third party. Right. So then when votes are made or, you know, stuff starts to collapse or whatever happens, you know that you're secure in what you have. Right. You got your wealth, and whatever happens on the outside is literally that happening on the outside.
Yeah. You understand.
And that's the way I kind of feel about that.
Because the two basic principles, and we talk about it, a lot of the precious metals people that don't like Bitcoin yet, I just think it's because they haven't taken the time to understand it, or we have done a poor job educating it, right? There's a saying, if the student isn't learning, then the teacher isn't teaching. So the problem may be us in terms of how we're approaching education, but what we can all agree on is the thing that we're fighting against, right? Number one, the dollar is garbage. We get that. The dollar is worthless. It is manipulated, and it is not the way to prosper, is by holding dollars and stacking dollars. The number two mindset for me in the crypto world is, I call it the crypto commandment number 2, is choosing the freedom mindset. I'm sovereign. I get to do what I want. with the money that I've earned, that I've saved, with the labor that I have put in and the rewards that I've held up and stored up in value for myself in Bitcoin or in gold, you can't tell me that I don't get to buy a car from Simon. It doesn't work that way. If I want to go to Ninja and go buy his Porsche and I want to give him Bitcoin and he wants to accept, you can't say no. I have nobody in the middle who could say no to me with Bitcoin. It's the same way with silver, same way with gold. So it does have a lot of these crossovers in terms of fundamentals of money. And I look forward to hearing about Joe Brown. I don't know if you know Heresy Financial Joe Brown, but he'll be talking about the future of money as well while we start looking at CBDCs and gold-backed digital tokens. And who knows what's going to be coming out as we go forward. But I can tell you guys, this is just a quick promo for you guys of the stuff that you get to hear about. And what are you going to be most excited to talk about and share with the community? Don't give too much away, but you're going to get to have time to share a few times. One about your perspective as an influencer and a YouTuber and what the challenges are, because there's a lot of young YouTubers coming as well, people who are aspiring to become content creators or learning how to develop an education platform like you've been doing, that are going to ask for advice. And they're going to be looking to you and other successful influencers who have seen these challenges. So that's one place. If you guys are coming, be ready to ask those questions because they will be there ready to help out the community. I'm telling you, I know these guys. They want to help out just as much as you want to meet them. Come say hi to them. Have fun with them. Shake their hand. This is what we're all here for.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like starting the YouTube channel and growing the YouTube channel has just been like absolutely, like I said, it's been a complete game changer for me and my life, my family, everything. And so I really encourage people to start YouTube channels, no matter what it is. Like I talk about economics, but if you're into fishing or if you're into, mechanics or something like that, follow that passion and put those videos out there and, see what happens. You put out a video every day for a year, it'll change your life, on YouTube. It will definitely do that. So I am excited to share my experience on building this YouTube channel and hope that somebody can benefit from that and getting their own channel up and started. When it comes to the economics portion of things, I guess I'm just really excited to share my theories, like, how it is that I came up with the theories that I follow and how I use those theories every day in my life, and how it is that other people, when you take on a certain understanding of the economy, you start to realize that all of us look at the economy differently. Like what it is that I'm going to do with my life and the experience that I have and the money and whatever. And I look at the economy, it's going to be very different from what you're going to do. Right. And, you have different things and wants, needs, desires in your life that doesn't necessarily jive with what I'm trying to do with my life. Right. So when we look at the economy, what it is that you need is going to be different from what my needs are, but yet we're looking at the exact same thing, right? So again, like if you're an investor, you're 18 years old, or if you're 80 years old, these two investors are not going to be doing the same thing with the economy. One is trying to secure their wealth, the other one's trying to grow their wealth, but they're looking at the same economy. But it's not the same, not to each individual person. So that's really what I want to share is like how it is that I came up with the theories that I do and how it is that I use those theories in everyday life to make to help me make the decisions that I'm doing. Following a particular person who says this is the way the economy is and you need to follow and look at it like this particular direction. Well, if you align with that person, it might work out really well. Like, everything that he's doing is the same thing that you're doing, and everything that he's talking about is exactly working in line with you. It's very difficult to find somebody like that, especially on the internet, right? Because we're all different. We're all going to be doing different things. And so that's really how I try to look at the economy and try to present my information is how do I make this information the most useful for the individual who is receiving it? Because what they're going to do with the information is going to be different from what I do. And that's really what I tried, to put out there on my channel, and that's really what I'm excited to share is to have that ability or to share those thoughts and theories out there.
Well, I could tell you, Simon, I'm really excited you're coming. I'm so thankful that you answered my phone call and that you took the time to give me a little bit of your day, because if we hadn't, I could tell you that there's going to be many people who would have missed out on a great conversation with you. So for you guys who are watching now, please do me a favor, hit the like, share, subscribe, but also leave a comment. If there's a question about the economy or something that you want UE to answer, we'll be taking these comments and maybe even entering them into the panel too. So if we have different questions that you guys are all wanting to know, maybe I'll throw a question at UE from you guys. So just leave him a comment and we'll see what he does with that and try to bring those questions and get them answered for you, at least if not today, next time. So until then, guys, Simon, thanks so much for popping in. I look forward to seeing you next week. It was going to be a blast. Make sure to text me when you get in and we'll connect. But for you guys, keep stacking sats and I'll hopefully see you guys next week.
Right on. Thank you, Patrick.